s'enfuit par les égouts pour rejoindre la citadelle.
Alright y'all, welcome back to the Commando Arms channel. Okay, so today we're checking out a new sort of French unit. Now, looking at the title and sort of the description, it looks like it's kind of like it's supposed to be a commando element, but it's also got like a mechanized, kind of like a recon flavor to it. So it's called the GAE-B, which stands for Groupement d'Aide à l'Engagement Blindé. So in English, what that stands for is Armored Engagement Support Group. Now, again, it looks like they're capable of a lot of different types of operations, but it looks like they're going to push sort of behind enemy lines and do things there. So again, it seems like it's more of like a recon, kind of like a commando element. But yeah, it's about 10 minutes long. I am going to be using the auto translate, so hopefully that works well enough. But it just looked like a really cool video and I want to check it out. So let's do it.
Surveiller, renseigner, protéger et neutraliser sont quelques-unes des missions de la nouvelle unité de combat de la 7e brigade blindée, le GAE-B, le groupement d'aide à l'engagement blindé. Créé début 2021, cette unité coup de
I want to see how she actually pronounced it because I was way off.
À l'engagement blindé. Créé début GAE-B, le groupement d'aide à l'engagement blindé. Créée début 2021, cette unité coup de poing agit en avant des lignes amies pour devancer l'ennemi et guider la progression des unités terrestres blindées. Qui sont ces commandos?
So I guess it's like so they push out, kind of like a Pathfinder element is what it sounds like. So it's a new unit, it was made in 2021, and it sounds like they sort of push out ahead of the normal sort of armored units, and I guess provide some intel and recon to them.
Comment sont-ils formés? Embarqués avec le GAE-B.
That looks cool though. Okay. Okay. This is pretty cool. Nice intro.
L'exercice Carspatch qui s'est déroulé en juin 2021 dans la région du Haut-Doubs est un exercice en terrain libre qui a permis de valider le concept d'emploi du GAE-B pour la 7e.
I gotta say, I think the beret is like a French invention. Is that right? Because I don't know. they're not representing it well.
Pour ce faire, énormément de moyens ont été déployés en terrain libre avec et aux côtés du GAE-B afin d'expérimenter les procédures et le commandement et le déploiement du GAE-B.
Okay, the translate's doing a pretty good job so far. Just talking about how they support other groups and whatnot. Okay, I want to check out the gear. You guys already know I love checking out the gear. Wow, his EOTech is really far forward, huh? I mean, I've seen that for certain applications, but for an EOTech, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of doing all that. So it looks like their actual sort of infantry-ish looking loadout is pretty modernized. Interesting helmets and helmet covers, though. And the weapon, so it looks like an HK416. They got EOTechs and then maybe like a D-ball laser. Yeah, that is a really interesting looking helmet. So he's got a counterweight, so I'm guessing they rock night vision at some point. And they also have sidearms, which is kind of cool. You don't see that too much, but they do have some really questionable holsters, I'll say that much. But yeah, okay. Looks like a pretty decent little setup there. The weapons manipulation seemed good as well. Still rocking the saw though. Nice, some pretty solid CQB training here, and the weather looks amazing.
Tous les équipiers commandos qui appartiennent au GAE-B sont sélectionnés, ils sont tous volontaires pour cette sélection. Cette sélection dure environ une semaine et à l'issue de cette sélection, ils suivent des instructions individuelles et collectives qui vont leur permettre, au sein de leurs unités, d'assimiler l'intégralité des procédures qui sont propres à tous les équipiers du GAE-B. Ensuite, interviendront des formations collectives qui seront dispensées par la brigade. C'est le cas d'un tronc commun qui s'appelle le stage UET, qui est dispensé par l'état-major de la brigade, renforcé de l'intégralité des cadres équipiers des régiments. Le stage UET a vraiment pour but d'intégrer la totalité des procédures avec un gros accent mis sur le tir, mis sur les procédures de combat embarquées et débarquées. À l'issue, les équipiers...
Okay, so mounting and dismounting sort of stuff, and then you can see they're doing a lot of sort of weapons training, which is pretty cool. But I don't know what they're doing here. If they're doing that thing, you'll see this a lot, but you'll have some people that are like sort of in a stack, and one person will peel off and the next person will get their gun up and they'll peel off and whatnot. I don't know. It's kind of like, I get it. It might be practical in some sort of CQB scenarios to train that, but yeah, in general, it's not really going to work out like that. So I don't really like seeing that drill too much, if that is what they're doing. But yeah, well, look, this dude looks a lot shorter than this guy right here. I don't know if he's just shorter, if these guys are just giants.
Accent mis sur le tir, mis sur les procédures de combat embarquées et débarquées. À l'issue, les équipiers poursuivent cette formation, notamment par le stage commando spécialisé au SNEC, séquence que vous êtes en train de suivre, et qui permet de poursuivre cette formation tout en intégrant des techniques, les techniques communes à l'intégralité des commandos.
Okay, that looks kind of cool. Yeah, it's nice for them to have their own specialized commando training.
L'environnement maritime de Collioure est propice aux formations aquatiques, comme le parcours nautique. Les commandos doivent en effet être en mesure d'intervenir par la terre, les airs, mais aussi par l'eau. Au SNEC, ils sont soumis à un stress permanent. Plonger, palmer, nager, ils sont évalués sur leur capacité de résistance, d'endurance et de combativité. Les stagiaires du GAE-B doivent trouver la ressource suffisante pour accomplir la mission.
Whoa, that is freaking beautiful. Yeah, so again, they are going to be tested pretty heavily. If they're an element that pushes sort of behind enemy lines, they need to be able to be self-sustaining. And with that, you need mature, responsible individuals that can sort of think on the fly and sort of work without hire constantly telling them what to do or micromanaging what they're doing. But yeah, this looks like a doozy. It looks like a really beautiful place to train. If you guys know where this is, let me know, because it looks really, really cool. But yeah, water stuff, I'm not really too big of, you know, swimming or anything like that, so I probably wouldn't have a good time here. But it looks cool, I gotta say. Props to these guys for knocking it out of the park. Hell yeah, that looks cool.
À peine sortis de la mer, ils doivent partir à l'assaut des pistes d'audace du fort qui surplombe la baie.
Nice.
Le stage militaire, en règle générale, est un stage particulièrement difficile dans l'armée de terre, un stage exigeant qui ne pardonnera aucune faiblesse. Ils sont venus avec un encadrement spécialisé chez eux, ce qui permet de profiter du SNEC pour passer les qualifications commando, mais tout en continuant à s'entraîner dans leur spécialité et notamment de bénéficier de l'expertise de leur cadre pour tout ce qui est des préparations de missions et des missions qui leur sont vraiment spécifiques. On a fait 2 semaines à Montluc, là on est à la 3e semaine que l'on fait sur Collioure pour toutes les spécificités nautiques, kayak, zodiac et notamment palmage qui est un gros pavé pour cette semaine-là pour eux.
Okay, so I think what he was talking about there was some of the equipment that they might use as far as like the Zodiacs and the kayaks and whatnot, which is kind of cool. You guys already know I love checking out some of the more maritime stuff as well. So it looks like they're going to be practicing some of that here with their wetsuits, but I'm guessing it's going to be more like swim training or something.
L'objectif, ça va être pour vous en fin de semaine réaliser un 800 mètres chronométré et un parcours de sauvetage. Il va y avoir un travail de technique de palmage. Ensuite, on en viendra aux apnées, les apnées en statique, en dynamique et en sup. C'est votre voilure de palme, elle va venir caresser le fleur de l'eau comme ceci. D'accord? C'est la seule consigne technique de palme que je donne pour l'échauffement.
So they're going over the actual like technique for swimming. Now, I imagine they have some sort of preliminary assessment for the actual swimming. It looked like that's kind of what they were doing previously. But I guess, you know, working with the snorkel and the wetsuits and the actual flippers is a completely different thing. You definitely need to practice and sort of master how to actually swim with those on.
Affleurer la surface avec sa voilure, c'est pour faire travailler le mouvement de jambe.
All right. So I know they had like a dummy. So they're going to be doing some underwater, like maybe some confidence kind of stuff. Oh man, that thing. I think he's like holding it by like a hook or something. I'm sure that thing is actually pretty freaking heavy. Oh man, and treading water without hands. Treading water in general for me is a struggle, but like that
On effectue le premier stage de commando spécialisé des équipiers du GAE-B de la 7e brigade blindée. Là, nous sommes sur la troisième semaine de stage. Et donc, sur cette troisième semaine de stage, nous travaillons plus particulièrement les insertions nautiques. Donc, tout le travail qui nous permet de partir de la mer et nous infiltrer par la mer et atteindre les côtes, commencer notre combat à terre après plusieurs procédures, notamment en palmage ou en kayak.
L'objectif, là maintenant, une fois que vous avez attendu vos 3-5 minutes, ça va être d'aller reconnaître cette plage, d'accord? Une fois que vous allez être ici, vous allez avoir les binômes qui vont se déplacer sur la plage. Donc eux, ils vont venir se mettre en place. Mais le but, c'est d'être le plus discret possible.
Nice. Yeah, so this looks very much akin to what you'd see like the US Navy SEALs doing. I'm sure we're going to get a shot of them coming up out of the water and whatnot. But yeah, inserting by the water definitely takes a certain amount of skill and discipline. And of course, inserting, you know, behind enemy lines before the actual, you know, the main effort gets there takes a lot of responsibility. And you need to be able to do it in small teams and sustain yourself. And like they're saying, they're trying to be as discreet as possible. So yeah, a lot of things go into the planning in this alone.
Donc quand vous allez passer du palmeur à la position debout, et bien quand je me relève, il faut vous resserrer les coudes de sorte à ce que l'eau ruisselle le long du corps, d'accord?
And they're even going over like the small details of how you actually move yourself when you're getting out of the water.
Vous avez appliqué la bonne méthode. Vous avez mis entre 15 et 20 minutes pour vous changer. Ce soir, on va le rejouer de nuit, d'accord? Parmi vous, il y en a qui sont habitués au domaine nautique parce qu'il y a des plongeurs de bord ou des plongeurs, des spécialistes confirmés. C'est le but de votre GAE-B. Et il y a la SAED qui est là, qui pour la plupart découvre un peu tout ça.
The translation.
Du réglage.
Ce stage au SNEC nous permet directement de pouvoir travailler les procédures opérationnelles permanentes de combat, notamment des SAED sur le combat de nuit, sur des terrains difficiles, inconnus pour nos équipiers car ils travaillent notamment dans l'Est.
It's even like mountaineering skills here. So I guess this is like a little exercise that they're doing for nighttime.
Le GAE-B est formé pour opérer en autonomie pendant 48 heures et en profondeur jusqu'à 30 km. Il doit acquérir du renseignement et l'exploiter pour donner un avantage tactique aux unités blindées qui attendent de se déployer. Ce renseignement, les commandos l'obtiennent notamment en s'infiltrant en zone ennemie.
So I imagine these guys have to have some sort of armor background to be able to, I mean, they're inserting and they're getting intelligence for an armored units. So I imagine they need to sort of understand how many vehicles are coming, what vehicles there are, sort of the limitations of, you know, the terrain and whatnot that they can actually operate in to just to sort of maximize their effectiveness. And I don't know if the vehicles are actually going to come on, you know, the actual beach itself, because I'm sort of picturing from a Marine mindset, you would go in early, infiltrate on the beach. You might establish a foothold on the beach, or you might mark like a certain lane for the actual amphibious assault to come in. But for these guys, I'm not sure if it's going to be the same, or they might just have a different route by land that they're trying to do some recon for as well. Generally, I would imagine just having a sort of like airborne or paratrooper element to, you know, get dropped behind enemy lines to do that recon for an armored unit might be a little bit more advantageous. But again, I'm sure these guys have a more specific role that I'm kind of just missing. So if you guys can sort of fill in some of the blanks that I'm missing, then I would appreciate it.
Il s'agit d'une action offensive, mais furtive, pour préserver l'effet de surprise de l'ennemi et ainsi l'empêcher d'anticiper la manœuvre.
Hell yeah.
On parle d'action fulgurante.
That's cool. They got a nice beach to train on, I gotta say. They're pretty lucky. Nice. Music.
Ce soir, le GAE-B s'infiltre de nuit par la mer, puis par les égouts pour rejoindre la citadelle.
Oh, snap. Are they actually going into the sewers? Like the sewer system? That'd be kind of cool. Like a little urban infiltration from the sewers.
Ils doivent voir
No
sans être
kidding.
vus, se poster et attendre les ordres.
That's cool. Well, that's a good place to get changed and whatnot. That's really cool. Oh, now they're just going into like an urban sort of fight now, huh?
Le vert action est donné. Les équipiers doivent s'emparer du fort. Cette mission
Nice.
a été minutieusement préparée grâce aux renseignements obtenus en amont.
Oh man, I didn't even consider that. Yeah, actually being amphibious and then going into a sewer and then going straight into like an urban fight, that's pretty crazy. You know these guys are going to be specialized in a lot of different things if they're able to do that. I mean, CQB is a whole beast in and of itself, but being able to be stealthy and sort of, you know, in search from the sea is a whole nother thing added on to this. Super cool.
Le hasard n'a pas sa place. Alors,
What's
toutes
going
les
on
hypothèses
here? What the
ont été
heck?
envisagées
What's that?
avant l'action. L'entraînement doit être au plus près de la réalité et même dépasser les difficultés réelles de la mission.
What the heck? Oh, he's just running through it, jeez. Okay.
Après leur formation intensive et des exercices
Interesting.
d'envergure comme Karspak en juin dernier, ces commandos poursuivent désormais l'entraînement jusqu'à leur projection au Sahel.
Wait, he's got, what does he have? Does he have, imagine that's not night vision. It's got to be some sort of thermal. Cause, I mean, even regardless though, if you're looking back at the fire there, it's gonna probably jack up that equipment, but okay.
Au Sahel en 2022.
Oh yeah, it looks like a PSQ 20 or something. So a thermal NVG hybrid. Nice, okay. That was freaking legit. I gotta say, we haven't seen any units, or at least any training videos that's encompassed all of this. We had the amphibious aspect, which was not just amphibious, but like really sort of like a sort of Navy SEAL vibe to it. You had all the CQB stuff, which is, again, a whole beast in and of itself. And again, it is for an armored unit, so they need to have some sort of background knowledge to understand how they can best support them. And of course, I imagine they need to have a pretty good understanding of the army units and their equipment to do that. So there's definitely a lot going into this. And I gotta say, their training environment looks really cool. The beaches that they were using looked awesome. They had like some old school villages that they were assaulting. And then inserting into the sewer is not something that I've seen previously. I think we might have maybe seen like the KSK do something similar to that, but I'm not sure. Tunnel warfare is one thing, but actually like going and inserting into a sewer from the water is pretty freaking cool. I imagine you can't do that in a lot of areas because they probably have like, you know, grates or what have you. But that was freaking sick. And you just got like the fire. So they have like their own special effects going on too. So imagine they get some pretty good support. Commandos usually get some pretty good support as far as like having the right training facilities, having the right equipment for the job and whatnot. But this was really freaking cool. Translation could have been better, not gonna lie. It wasn't auto-translate. It was good in some regards, but I think maybe some of the French speakers in here had a little bit of an accent. And then when there's like a little bit of an accent, I guess the translate doesn't know how to take it. So we had, what is it, sex internship? Okay. But we got a pretty good understanding of what they do, what they're responsible for, and that's pretty much all we could ask for. It was pretty sweet video. I gotta say, the footage was sick, the training was sick, the equipment was sick. But again, this is a new commando unit, and obviously those aren't cheap. You know, those aren't easy to establish. So I imagine they're definitely filling a very specific role. But to have all that equipment and that training and whatnot, yeah, I imagine they were pretty important in what they were doing or some of the gaps that they were trying to fill. But definitely an awesome recommendation. Thank you guys again for the awesome recommendations. And thanks again for supporting the channel. But that is it for this video. I will see y'all in the next one.